I'm standing inside the entrance to the first room in the exhibition, which we call the Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Room. And the reason for that is that this room contains 3 tableaus of cabinets with natural objects around them, and they reflect the division of the natural world into 3 broad areas: animal, vegetable, and mineral. This was common in cabinets of curiosities from the mid-16th through the early 18th century. The other thing we were thinking about with this room, again, is the idea that objects in the cabinets and objects from the world are either artificial or artificialia, and that would be contrasted to naturalia, or objects that were collected from the natural world and displayed in cabinets. So one of the tensions in this room is looking at that contrast between artificialia and naturalia. This first tableau shows a small document cabinet that's suspended in a thicket of elm branches. The artificial is the document cabinet. This was made from the material that you see in the wood surrounding the cabinet, but it was made by people. That material was modified. Another thing I really thought about in this tableau, the vegetable tableau, is that these elm branches are obviously dead, but you see them as branches that have been debarked by elm beetles, and you also see budded branches. So it reflects the cycles of nature: birth, fluorescence, death, and rebirth. The animal cabinet mostly has taxidermied specimens of birds. Birds were often featured in Cabinet of Curiosities collections, and generally you would see many, many, many birds, so you would get a sense of all of the different specimens, species of birds that you would see in nature, and have a sense of wonder at all of this diversity. This tableau also contains something that's very important for Cabinets of Curiosities, and that is the deer that you see here. This deer is a doe with antlers, so she is a true hermaphrodite. And these so-called sports of nature, such as any kind of a hermaphrodite or conjoined twins, were important in Cabinets of Curiosities. One other thing I wanted to mention is that these taxidermied animals have all been covered with graphite, and I did that for 2 reasons. I wanted them to have a sense of the artificial or artificialia about them, and the use of graphite really transforms them into something that's not quite what you would see in nature. I also use the graphite because I can burnish it, and as you see, that really shows you every detail of the surface of these animals. So you see all the details of the fur on the deer, you see the details of the feathers on the birds. So again, it's a way of really creating a sense of wonder and mystery about these animals. This third tableau, the mineral tableau, reflects objects that were always found in Cabinets of Curiosities. And I made an effort to really find different kinds of minerals that would have been in 18th century cabinets. So we have things like coral, there are shells, there are fossils, there are crystals. And when thinking about how to arrange this tableau, I was really inspired by a historical Cabinet of Curiosities, which was owned by a man named Levinus Vincent, and he published a series of engravings of his cabinet, and they show the cabinets themselves and then drawers pulled out of the cabinets arranged on the floor in front with objects inside the drawers and objects around. So there's just this plethora of objects, the riches from the natural world. And in this cabinet, there's a good example of that. There's a small gemstone collection, because generally gemstones were featured in these Cabinets of Curiosities. And this one's really appropriate because it shows samples of the natural rock or ore that is used for the gemstone, and then it shows a cut sample next to each one, whether it's faceted or whether it's cut as a cabochon. So it really contrasts in each case the artificial with the natural.
The piece of furniture that's here in the mineral tableau is a mid-18th century New York desk and bookcase that's in Chipstone's collection, but the interior of the bookcase had been lost long ago, so we had the freedom to build our own shelves. And Part of what all of us were trying to get at here is the compulsion on the part of cabinet collectors to put things into categories. Everything had to be in a specific category. But there are a few things that we put up here in this desk and bookcase that really defied categorization, that really stumped people for a very long time. One of them are fossils. So are fossils animal or mineral? And the other one is coral. Was coral a vegetable or an animal?